right, we're on.
All right.
We're going. All right, this is Ugly Old Goat with Kestutis, and we are going to have an Ask Ugly Anything session. Can you see the questions? We don't have anything. Where do the questions stream?
So I'm gonna see the questions on my phone.
Okay.
Hey guys, so welcome to Ask Ugly Anything show, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. You're gonna ask
Ask me
ugly.
anything while I drink my Tecate.
A lot of you been asking, good questions on Telegram, and so we're gonna try to sort of address them, in this talk. So
and I want to address something first before we get started.
Sure.
I have a lot of very positive feedback, a lot of great testimonials from you guys. I mean, I know that some of you, by following what I've been teaching, you've turned your trading around. But not all of it's positive, and but there are a few people that they thought that somehow they'd be able to follow my trading. Which no, I'm teaching you how to trade. It's going to be very difficult for you to trade because trading's dynamic. It's fast, it's quick, and the only way we could do that is I'd have to mirror my account, and if I did that, I would charge an arm and a leg. I mean, I wouldn't do it for less than $1 million a year. And so it would be so expensive, and it can be done. Victor said he would write the program, but I would charge at least a Bitcoin a year or a tenth of a Bitcoin a month. I would limit it to no more than 100 subscribers. But that's really, and even then you'll have to be on there and seeing what I'm doing. And then I'm not going to give you explanations or anything because, I'm busy trading. I can't hold you guys' hands. But the main thing that I'm getting back is people, well, I've subscribed to your letter and I'm still getting blown out of the market. Well, you didn't follow my letter. You're not following what I'm teaching you. What I'm teaching you is money management. If you don't know how to trade, you should not be in the market in any big way. If you've lost, and most likely I can almost tell and feel what's going on here. You've traded and you've lost a lot of money. It might be, a lot of money is different for different people. It might be $5,000. It might be $20,000. It might be $100,000. It might be millions. But the whole thing is, whatever you're in there, if you're going in there thinking you're going to make it back, you're not going to till you learn how to trade. And if you try to make that, you got to just forget that loss. You got to start all over again. You got to fill out all your stinking thinking, and you got to start thinking correctly. And you have to trade very small, very small. And most of you, you're not going to be happy with that because I tell you what, if you're in this for the excitement of the trading, you're not going to make it. This is a business, and you have to learn to treat it accordingly. And the way that you do that is you have to start very small. For example, on February 4th, when I started with 2 Bitcoin, which is not very much for me, a very small amount, okay, and I've been able to turn that in. To over 35 Bitcoin now, whatever it is. On May 25th, I had 2 and I turned it into 10. Okay, but if you'd have started with $70, basically at the time, 2 Bitcoin was worth $7,000. $7,000 was turned into over $400,000. That's a lot of money, and I didn't start out with much. But if you started out with $70. And know how to trade, you could very easily take $70 and turn that into $4,000, just like I did. But if you're going to jump in there and think, oh, I follow Ugly Old Goat now and make everything else I lost, no, you're not. You have to learn how to trade, and you have to do it in a very small way. And it has to be real money, and it has to be real results, because paper trading, people say, well, paper trade. No, you can't paper trade because paper trade isn't trading. It's paper trading. And the market is dynamic. It doesn't account for slippage and all the things that go on that, oh, I thought I got bought here. Well, you didn't get bought there because you didn't get filled. So you got to trade real money. But you know what? If you can't afford to risk $100, then you shouldn't be here anyway. But if you're not a successful trader, trade with $100. Trade with $100. You can do the cool thing about BitMEX. You can do it on BitMEX. You can trade $1 at a time. I mean, you can do that. You couldn't do that. You can't do that anywhere else in the world. You can't do it on the stock market and any, and anything in the United States. But you can have $100 and turn it into a fortune. But you have to be disciplined, and you can do it. But you certainly don't want to be putting your life savings or putting a lot of money into the market when you don't know what the fuck you're doing, because you're just goat food. I hate to say it, but that's what you're going to be. So anyway, we'll go from there, because I'm here to teach you guys. It's a whole package. It's not just trading, but there are some people that they thought they'd be able to get my trading and just. I'll just follow ugly old goat. And then I get other people, well, I'll give you money. You can, no, I don't want to manage your money. Look, I got a family to take care of. I risk my money. Why do I want to trade for you and I get a small percentage? Well, I don't want to do that. I'm not a money, even if you want to, that's what these big money managers do. And win or lose, they charge a 2% per year. Doesn't matter. And most of them, don't. A lot of times they don't win. But they're going to charge you a fixed amount regardless. So you got to learn to do this, and you have to treat it as a business and be serious about it, and not want to ride on my coattails, because and then I'm not always right. I just screwed up in the market. My equity dropped too much. I'm not proud of my trading yesterday, but and I talk about that. I tell you my screw ups, okay? Because you're not always going to be successful, but you see my track record, and I try and eliminate those big downturns, and that's really a hard thing to do. So we'll go on from there, but I just wanted to outline that to you. If you guys are looking to ride on my coattails, you're not going to be able to do it. You've got my history, so you can see how it's done. You kind of go and get a feel. I'll talk about it. I'll show you different techniques, and you don't get it if you're telling me, well, I've been following your newsletter and I'm still losing my shorts. No, you're not. You didn't read my material, because if you follow what I'm telling you, you can't lose your shorts. You can't lose. You can lose a little bit. You can only lose what you're putting in there. But if you're coming in, taking my newsletter and say, well, I lost $100,000, but now I got ugly old goat's newsletter, and I'm going to trade like I used to trade. No, you don't, because you don't know how to trade. That's why you got me. I'm trying to teach you. And the first thing you got to do is cut your trading way back. So that's it. I mean, that's where I'm at. Let's go on from there. Let's do this.
This is, you need to hear that, guys. You subscribe to Ugly's newsletter, and you use this as a sort of a holy grail in trading. And you can't use that, because there is a trap. Because if you rely too much on Ugly's authority, you will not get out when you need to get out, right? You'll say, well, Ugly did this, so then it should work for me too. And then when the market turns, Ugly knows what to do, and you should know too. If you don't know, you're gonna get burned. Okay, that is why you cannot use that information, the material, as a material for you to trade. You use this for education, and you have to, you have all this data, all the history of Ugly's trading. You could go through and study thoroughly.
And you can see, the main reason I do it is you can see how it's done.
Yeah.
Literally can see exactly that you're seeing. Here's the trades I did. This is actual history. This is how I did it, and it's there. Yeah, you're gonna have to, but what you're asking me to do it for you, to hold your hand, or, make it. The data is there.
The data is there. Educational material is there. Is for you to study it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had some guy from some university was doing a survey, and he wanted me to answer the survey. And it was a bunch of just silly questions. And I said, look, you're a researcher. Every one of those questions are answered in my newsletter. Do your research and read my newsletters. It's all right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because I think different than other people. You know, I emphasize your equity. I don't emphasize the charts. You know, you're trading you're the one that needs to trade. The important thing that, yeah, I look at the charts, but the most important thing is that equity box. That's it.
Right. All right, guys. So I'm going to go through questions that you asked on Telegram. And let's see from there. All right. So we have a question. All right. Okay. So this question from Andy. Since you were looking to buy, you can use today as an example. He was talking about the specific case. I am more interested in your thought process than anything else. At what point do you decide that you will not buy the low? Do you set low limit buy orders? Do you look to buy a support level? What triggers your buy? So many questions from Andy.
Well, all of that.
But let's unpack. Let's have one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the problem is that you're asking us. You want static answers from a dynamic market. The market is dynamic. It's changing. And what I could tell you, you know, now would not be the same an hour from now. And that's, you know, that's just the nature of the beast.
What makes you change your mind an hour from now? Is it the price action?
Yeah, well, yeah, the price action, it depends upon, I react, okay? I don't predict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody else, well, I predict, he called this. You know what? Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where the market's going. I'll tell you, everybody, and I get, I mean, some of these analysts get pissed at me because, you know, I say, I don't know. You know, I don't need to know. That's not the important thing. But you can identify, you know, risk. Right now, you know, we are in a trading market. It's a crappy market for a position. If you're going to have a position you want to be long, there's no reason to be short. But my gosh, you know, the volatility, I don't want a big position on right now. I just don't. You know, I'm taking money out. I'm small trader again, probably should take more and just trade off of 2 Bitcoin. And so, you know, unfortunately, I took the 6 out and my equity, you know, was had with 10. Now it's 4. Now I'm not trading like it was 10. I'm back at 4, but I'm not trading at 4 because I lost half a Bitcoin on that. So I'm trading that equity for what it is. I cut back. When I lose, I cut back.
Right.
Okay. And most people don't do that.
Yeah.
So
because
you need, then once you start building it, then you can, you know, you got a leeway.
Okay. So to summarize, Andy, I think what the Ugly is saying is that he trades in a reactionary way, and if the price tells him something, he's going to take action on that, right? Also, you gotta feel the climate, because like Ugly is saying, right now it's not the climate, right? When we had this huge pump to 13.8 and this stuff, that was easy, right? You just need to get in and get out at the right times. Now the price is getting squeezed, the climate has changed, Ugly's trading has changed. Okay, so it's dynamic. So it's very difficult to answer with one answer, because it depends. Yeah. And how do you get the feel for each and every scenario depending? Well, I mean, that takes a long time, learning and studying and analyzing each, specific case, and then eventually you get a feel for the market, Yeah,
it is an art. It is not a science. It really is an art. And that's like kind of asking, I mean, and there's certain techniques that an artist can teach you, okay, to become a good artist. But that still doesn't mean you're going to be drawing, world-class pictures. You got a few techniques down. And so it's more to it than just technique. In fact, that's where my emphasis is teaching you guys, is because in my mind, the model that is being taught and has always been taught, and it's because of the way people think, because that's what you want, is the technicals are emphasized. And everybody's got that. If you think the technicals, and that's kind of what I'm hearing, is that if you think the technicals is the most important thing, you got it all wrong.
Yeah, guys. So static versus dynamic. Okay, Uglies trading is dynamic. It changes as things change. If you go into static and think like, okay, I have a system now. If this goes this, then this, and then it's a very, very basic rudimentary, logic that you're using, and it does work in the other things in life, but it doesn't work on chaos. Okay, in chaos, things change. Everything that you used before is useless at that particular moment right now, right? You got to change yourself as well. Your thinking as well.
Look,
so dynamic versus static.
Right. And the first thing, again, is your money management. The second thing is your fundamentals. Okay. And fundamentals, that's what I really teach people. That's why we hodl Bitcoin. You guys are all way ahead if you learn to hodl, because hodling is hard. It's not, to buy Bitcoin and just hold, never get rid of some of it. Yeah, you can sell some of it, but never all of it. You still have a hodl.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. I did it. I've been doing it. I never get rid of all my Bitcoin. You know what? I go short the market, but I never short Bitcoin. And that's the fundamentals. Okay.
Right.
Right now, you know what? I just lost a half of Bitcoin from yesterday to today, and but big deal. My hodl is worth a lot. Okay, I just took 6 out. We're gonna be,
Well,
I got to make the goat lady happy and buy her what she wants. Okay, so she'll be getting some things she wants. I think we got enough equipment, so I won't be buying any more equipment. But she had some surgery; I had to pay for that. But we're going to hodl some of it too. That's the way you have to learn to play this game. And then you take a very small percentage of your hodl and trade it. And if you're not trading successfully, then you need to take a smaller part of your hodl, and it can be, it can be $100. And you can trade $100 in BitMEX and learn how to if you learn to manage that $100 and you turn that $100 into $5,000. Wow, isn't that something? Now you're ready.
Absolutely.
To go the next step and put a Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoin, put in $10,000 or $20,000 and do the same thing again.
Yeah. Yeah. So like what Ugly is describing, guys, you need to graduate first. Okay. You can go in with the big money right away. Like I always give you this, metaphor is as you just go into the market. It's like you're being a rookie fighter and going and trying and fight the professional fight at the UFC. I mean, it's not going to work. Okay.
And you shouldn't be in here. Look, I give away most of my materials free. And if you don't have a hodl, there's no reason for you to be a subscriber to my newsletter.
Okay.
You need to get that hodl first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So to summarize, climate, I would describe it as a climate. You need to understand what climate is in and then judge your decisions accordingly. So that's the difference between static and dynamic trading. And then also what Ugly is emphasizing is that be small. If you become big, go back to small again, become big again, go back to small again, because like he always says, small traders can become big traders. But when you go in big, there's the only way, down, because you have not became a big trader from being a small trader. That's your first mission. You need to graduate. You need to get to that point. And that's what we're working with. We're going to be working with my group, the students, the mentorship program, and then we're going to practice. And we're going to practice. And we're going to put what the Ugly mentioned. $100. I was actually thinking to do a practice account, but Ugly suggested that forget about that. That practice account is not real account.
No,
And
it's not, paper trading is not real. 'Cause
Yeah.
It just isn't, you don't see the slippage, you don't see,
Right.
sometimes you get bills, you don't get, it has to be a real trading account. But it can be a very small amount of money.
Yeah, so we're gonna go with 50, $100. Anyone can afford that, and then we're going to trade, and we're going to try to apply and going to try to learn all these different, how to trade dynamically, how to recognize patterns, how to do the money management, all these kind of things, and we'll see what's going to happen. Within 3 months, we'll see what's going to happen with these student accounts, and then if they become big in terms of what they started with, then I could let them off and I could graduate them. I could say, okay, you're graduated, now you can go into the real world and play with the bigger stakes, because now I see that person is capable of doing that. If I don't see that that person is capable of doing that, I will not let them off. I will not graduate them. I will just simply not give them the completion certificate, right? They're not going to be ready for the real world. So yeah.
Where are the questions? Can we scroll them on that screen or not? Usually they put them up there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can see everything on the phone right here. Okay. All right. So
now, this is the YouTube channel? Okay.
This is live. So what's up, guys? Will Aroka is asking, could you talk about MAs? Ugly doesn't talk about technicals because it's not about that.
Did I withdraw regularly? Yes. On the leaderboard. Yes. You need to always withdraw regularly. So, and I'm a lot more responsible now than I was then. I had my equity swings were too large. And, but I don't, I made my bones. And so now my whole thing is I do want to teach, and, you're learning from my past mistakes, and you've seen how it's done, and it can't, nothing else. I want you to be encouraged. You can do this. Okay. It's not that hard, but you have to do it, and you can't be riding on my coattails.
Yeah, Ugly's right on that one, guys. You can't be riding on Ugly's coattails, as he's saying, because you have to pay your dues. Ugly spent 50 years learning trading. It's not going to be like you just look at his sheets and then try to emulate that, and then you go in as big as Ugly is going in. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're just trying to cheat the universe. That's not how it works. You either need to learn the way the Ugly learned, right? And get to that point. Start thinking the way the Ugly is thinking. And it may take time, and you have to make that sacrifice.
And the biggest thing is the wrong thinking. And if you get your thinking, then the rest, believe me, the rest will come. I mean, it kind of frustrates me because there is so many people, and not most of you, but there's an element out there of subscribers. They just want to be able to mirror my trades. Well,
what they're looking at is fund management. That's what they're looking for.
Fund manager.
Yeah.
Find somebody. I'm not going to do that. Now, Kestutis has suggested that we make a do-it-yourself fund manager where we actually mirror my account so you can jump in and try and follow me. But I don't think that's going to work for you because you have to be up 24 hours a day. How are you going to do that? I'm not. And I'm not going to. I don't have time. I got a life to live. I can't hold you guys' hands. Oh, I'm doing it. And then you say, well, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Well, here's what I did. And I'm not going to be able to tell you why.
Right,
I can teach the principles of things that I do, and then you can see it. But, you have to have the right expectations for this, and what do you want to do? What I'm teaching you, again, Bitcoin is a life changer. Okay. It is a life changer. And you don't even need to know these trading strategies and secrets that I'm teaching you to be very successful in Bitcoin. That's what my number one articles are. My number one articles, how to have the same results as a professional trader without the inherent risk. And it's really simple. It's not hard. You just dollar cost average, and it doesn't matter when you start. But the first question as I get is, well, when do I start? Like, yesterday, today, tomorrow?
Yeah.
I don't know how I can make it any clearer.
Well,
that that's how anybody in Bitcoin has finally made it, is they buy Bitcoin and they hold it. It doesn't matter what the price is. If you held, if you bought, if you hold it 5 years, it's going to be worth a lot more.
Absolutely.
And so you that's what we call it, the Bitcoin standard. You're building your entire financial portfolio on a new standard that is going to appreciate. Now, unfortunately, it not only appreciates, but it has these 90% corrections and crashes. And that's going to remain the case, I think, until commercial banking is implemented in the Bitcoin industry, and it will be eventually. But then the opportunity, then you're not going to see the type of exponential gains that you can experience. I mean, Bitcoin's still in a very, very early stage. It just is.
Right.
So, we're going to be looking back at 100,000 Bitcoin. What difference does it make if you bought it at 3,000 or 15,000? It's not going to look cheap.
Yeah. So the one thing that you have to understand, that there's one ingredient that goes into what Ugly is saying, is delayed gratification. And I don't know if your parents taught you and gave you a piggy bank, right? But that, if they did, then you probably are responsible with your money and probably doing very well. However, if you never had the piggy bank experience when you were a kid, then it's going to be much more difficult for you. And when Ugly is explaining about dollar cost average, is that you should be able to buy at any price for at least 5 years. If you don't break your piggy bank within 5 years, you're going to do well. So when Ugly is saying start dollar cost averaging, what he means is right now. Doesn't matter the price. And I know some of you, and if you're really smart, the more smart you are, the more your mind is in the way, because you're thinking, oh, we had all this rally right now. I'm going to be looking and waiting for the pullback, and forget about dollar cost averaging. We're going to keep waiting. And guess what? People have been waiting for the pullback since 3,500. That's it. Bitcoin skipped the phase. It went from, we had the accumulation phase in the previous bear market. We had the first phase, and then we have a second phase. And each of those phases had the incline of the certain angle. Right now, we skipped the phase. We went right through to the one before the euphoria, right? So we are on a freaking steamroll right now. Now we don't know if we're gonna fall back on the previous stage, or we're just gonna keep going up from here.
I certainly don't. I don't pretend to. So, and never have. I told you I was bullish on Bitcoin at 3,500. Outlined exactly the reasons why, and that was that. And now, hey, it's a completely different market. Sorry if you missed out on it, but I called it the best I could, and it was no secret. There's no secret information. It was there for everybody. So, but I like what Kestutis just said. Hodling Bitcoin is delayed gratification. Okay, that's perfect description for trading also.
Right.
You have to be able to delay your gratification. If you're sitting here and thinking, I got ugly now, and I just follow him. I lost $100,000 last year, but I'm going to make it all back. No, you're not, because you're not thinking right. You got to delay that gratification. You don't know what you're doing.
Right.
You need to get in there with $100. And you know what? It hurts your pride, doesn't it? Because, man, you were a big shot. You were swinging. You were making that adrenaline. Boy, it pumps up. You see that mark. Oh, you feel so good when it's up. Oh, then you get so depressed. You need to overcome that.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do it is if you're trading with shit, it doesn't matter to you. And when it doesn't matter, my goodness, how much better trader you get because it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
And you got to get that through your head. So, like I say, if you're not profitable in trading, you should only be trading maybe $100, $200 at most. And turn that in. Make 10 times on that. Turn that $100 into $1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Or $5,000, and do it consistent. Now, here's the other thing that you're not going to like from me. You don't jump in there. You might be a little one-day wonder. If you can't trade consistently, okay, and at least break even for a whole year, you have to break even. I always say this: if you can trade actively and break even after a year, then you're on your road to success. But I'll take it one step farther. Until you can have a successful track record, not just break even, but until you turn that $100 into $1,000 over the course of 6 months or a year, over an extended period of time, now you can jump in and go a little bit heavier. But you still don't jump in with your hodl. You jump in with 5% of your hodl. You know, if you've got 10 Bitcoin, you don't want to be trading more than half a Bitcoin, period. And if you lose, you trade, you cut down the size of your position accordingly. I teach you completely different what's out there. And I don't, like I say, I don't emphasize the technical because people don't believe it, but I'll tell you, technicals are not that important. And the technical and analysts, they'll say technicals everything. Well, I can tell everything from the price of the market. No, you can't. Look, all a chart is past history. That's all it is. Okay, it doesn't predict a thing. Now, there are patterns that you can learn. There's techniques you can learn that will increase the likelihood of your success, but it doesn't predict the market. It doesn't predict it.
No.
So
yeah. So what I call this scaling. Okay, I mean it's just a very basic and obvious name for it. It's scaling, right? So depending on your performance, you got to scale up or scale down, and it depends a lot on emotional maturity as well. For example, some people, if they are emotionally mature and experienced, they can trade much bigger, and they have exact same emotional response whether they trade 2 Bitcoin or 20 Bitcoin, right? But most people are not like that. That's a really high level of emotional maturity. Okay, that's the first thing. So the way the scaling works is that
it should be emotional. If you're trading 20 Bitcoin and 20 Bitcoin is all you have, that's a highly. But you take the emotions out by scaling down the size of what you're trading with. If you have 20 Bitcoin, you trade with a half a Bitcoin in the account.
Yes.
And you can run that half a Bitcoin into 5 Bitcoin. You've seen me do it.
Right. So, but the scaling and emotional maturity, it balance it out, right? If somebody is good at trading and they, let's say, put $100 in, and they turn out to be talented at trading, right? And they turn it into 4,000. Okay, they can scale now. No, they can stay with 4,000 and trade. And then let's say the performance going down, they scale down. Okay, because the performance may go down because of the emotional, maturity level. And whenever the stakes are going higher and higher and higher, your performance may be decreasing because you are not mature enough to trade that. So you scale it down, and then you scale back up. However, some people are naturally or learn much better how to handle their emotions. They can actually go up in the not losing performance. As the stakes goes up, the performance is not decreasing, right? So that's why it's a balance between, if your performance is decreasing and you're not emotionally mature, you got to scale it down. However, if your performance keep increasing, your stakes increasing, just keep going. means that you're ready. I mean, you always need to go by but what your equity is showing and your performance. But the scaling, guys, remember the scaling. Start off small. And if you're experienced trader, it's like interesting experiment as well. Put 100 bucks in the BitMEX and see what you can do with it. And if you're successful, if you are good, you don't need much. There's such thing as what Einstein was saying, is that the incredible miracle is compounding interest, right? So you have to understand, if you're good at trading, if you think about it, if you can put 20% on your equity, 50% of your equity, 100% on your equity, if you could keep doing that, that's gets to the ridiculous scales very quickly. You can put $1,000, and if you're performing well, it could be $1 million within a year if you get that good, right? But real life is not like that. Like what Agli is saying is, if you keep going up in that scales, at some point you're going to reach that how much you can handle emotionally. You're going to have to scale it down, and it works very well for Ugly because he knows his scale.
And if you get wiped out, if you've lost all, okay, and that's what that's why it was so great when Zazo got on, because basically he made a beginner's mistake. He was trading successfully, but he had all the Bitcoin he owned in the account. And he wound up losing it all. Well, that was his number one mistake, because nobody's going to be that good. I mean, I'm really, people aren't going to believe it. I'm really not that good a trader. I'm really not. I mean, I screw up so much. Okay. And people have a hard time understanding that. But Kestutis thinks, no, I'm not. I'm really, go look at some of the trades I made. They're not that good, But I am managing those funds, and that's the number one thing. Zazo, you can only make if you make a money management mistake, it's fatal. It takes you out of the game. You're done. You're toast. You can't play anymore until you rebuild it. And that's what Zazo's doing.
Okay, so let's say Zazo practice scaling. And let's say what you're doing, and you're taking 2 Bitcoin, turning to 20 or 10, and taking some out and starting small again. Let's say Zazo did that. Let's say Zazo had, accumulated 3 Bitcoin, and he knew, obviously, you understand very well what's your scale. Let's say Zazo did that. He would have kept his 2.5 Bitcoin now.
Oh yeah, he'd still have his Bitcoin.
Right.
And he would still be playing the game. And but he learned the lesson. And like I say, when you guys tell me, well, I've subscribed to your newsletter and mine's still getting blown out of the market, I said, well, you didn't subscribe. You might subscribe to my newsletter, but you really don't get the 4 secrets that I taught. And the first secret is money management. The second one's money management. And the third one's money management. And if you think that those are the only 3, and you think you got that lick, you still missed the biggest secret. And that's the 4th secret, and that's money management. I'm telling you, that's where it's at. You got to get that in your head. It has to be part of your DNA. And once that is there, the rest of it will come. Most of you are probably better traders than me. You probably caught a big market by the tail and you made a whole bunch of money. But guess what? You gave it all back, didn't you? That's why you're not a good trader. It wasn't that you didn't have the technical skills. You had great technical skills. You just didn't know how to manage that account.
You just didn't understand scaling, and usually those mistakes are emotional. Usually because somebody goes in big and is not ready for that scale yet. Okay, so you got to be very careful about that. And so money management, practice scaling. If you see that you're becoming nervous and anxious and you start rooting for the price going one way or the other, that's your sign that, okay, you're doing something wrong, that you should never be rooting one way or the other, That means that you're probably way too big in it, and that you should need to scale it down. Um, greed, what takes all the money away from you.
Well, look, start with $100, and build on that. And if you lose that 100, put in another 100. You can keep trying, but hey, you can start with $100 account 10 times, and you're only lost $1,000. But like I know what's in the back of a lot of your heads. Well, I've already lost $100,000. My wife doesn't even know about it. I got to get it back. Well, you're not going to get it back because you lost it. It's gone. It's gone. All right. You're not going to get it back. Your thinking's wrong, and you think, you weren't thinking in the right way to begin with, and you just doubled down and thinking again, because you got to go back and rethink everything, change the way you're thinking, put on the training wheels, and but I know how to do it. Well, no, you don't. You don't know how to trade if you've made a whole lot and lost it all.
Yep.
You don't know it.
Yep, exactly. And all right, so let's look at a different question. This one is a little bit more technical. Okay. So I think it was Etienne asking, I have a question regarding short the ETH perpetual. I can see you went short ETH USD and long BTC USD perp. Can you explain your thoughts process behind that? Because till now, BTC and ETH perps on BitMEX were somehow correlated and moved together, more or less. And it seems to me like a contradicted trade, being long BTC USD and short ETH.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of an arbitrage, and now I'm kind of in it wrong. I haven't gone into my yesterday's trading, but I call it every now and again I get discombobulated, and I don't know where I'm at now. But yesterday, first of all, I made a bunch of mistakes First of all, when it went over 10, it takes a long time for me to write those newsletters, guys. And I wasn't watching the market. I was, busy doing the newsletter, and I wasn't watching things. And then as soon as I sent that newsletter, the market started. And I really wasn't looking for a crash, but I wasn't looking at the market. There was a 9 on the 4 hours coming up. If I saw that, I should have. I had some trim orders up there. I said, this thing's not going down. So I canceled the trim. First mistake, keep your trims in there. Don't pull your trims. Then I said, I pulled everything. I said, you know what? I don't like my equity going from a little over 4 to down to 3.5 and or 3.6. So I used market orders and got out of it, but I only did one side of my position, which is another big mistake. I'm very biased bear on Ethereum, and it turned around. I mean, Ethereum's got this great big rally going. I think it's all, but you can't argue with the market. So now I got out of my Bitcoin, and I'm still short the Ethereum. So I'm getting my little. I'm giving up more equity. I should just get out of the thing, but I'm going to try to work my way out of it. I probably have to get out of it because I don't want to give up much. I'm not putting more money in the account. And, I thought I was trading with 4, and now I think my account's down to about 3.4. And so I took a hit of my equity that I don't like. I don't like to give up my profits. And so I made a mistake by legging out. When I decided it's time to get, the other thing I need to start doing more, I started doing it, but on the equity spikes, use the market orders because it works and you get good fills that way. But we can look at the markets if you want. How do we do share?
So guys, do you see Gugly has 50 years experience and he's still learning from his mistakes?
Oh, I make mistakes.
It never ends.
You guys, I write about my mistakes. You learn more. I learned, I'm not that good a trader. I'm really not. You guys can think, it's really stupid. Yeah, I'm really not that good a trader, but I'm not giving it back. That's the key. And I can't give it back because you know what? I don't have hardly anything in my account anymore. So what do I do? Application window is this.
All right, you want a screen share?
I'm trying to go to screen share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
All right. Let's see if this. Where's my Yeah, I'm getting a little bit back. Oh, good. All right. So you'll see my account here. And I think I'll probably work my way back, but and I really am pretty lost in this market right now. It can go either way. But if you, let's see what my account, okay. Where is my, but see where my equity is? It was over 4. I've given up a half a Bitcoin. I'm not happy with that. I don't have much on. I still have the 20,000 short here. Because I'm not in the driver's seat right now, I couldn't, I'm not trading because I'm really not too worried about being short the Ethereum. But, by the same token, I don't want to be, I'm just not going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. Right now, I have a very small position on, according to the amount that I have in my account. And I mean, if you look at it, I've made money on this thing. If you look there, I'm down, here on the unrealized profit, but I've still realized a profit here. So, I mean, my trade, I'm still in a profit. And same with this thing here. I'm down here, but I'm, here now, I guess I'm up. I'm down on this one total because of the unrealized. This thing popped up to but I was using this as a spread and was basically it's a way to be long Bitcoin by being short Ethereum. And it's also a way that I was using it to collect being long Bitcoin and still get paid the premium for funding. Well, the problem is I blew out of all my long Bitcoin. I think I was long about $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, and I blew out pretty well at the bottom because I said, I don't like the way my equity is going. But I stayed with the Ethereum because I thought the thing was going to keep going down. So, it was a screwball trade. It's bad trading, guys. Really bad trading. I mean, I look like a Sunday school amateur. I just look like an amateur in that trade. But here's the important thing. I don't have much in my account. I mean, if I get completely Z'd out and, Ethereum Flash runs up to $100,000, I'm still way ahead of the game. But I don't like this. I mean, I've lost my equity dipped from 4.1 down to 3.4. And, I don't like it. So, somewhere along here, I just might get out of the market entirely because I feel like I'm out of step. And it is important if you're out of step of the market that you just get out and take a break and come back in. You don't have to be trading all the time. You just don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is a sophisticated arbitrage that I'm doing, but it's consistently worked. That's how we turn. I mean, if you notice, from May 25th until today. Turning that 2 Bitcoin, well, now it's into 9.5. It was 10, but now it's 9.5. Basically, that was a strategy I was using, and I was always more or less in that arbitrage position. But this rally really spooks me on Ethereum because if you look here, let's go look at the 4. I mean, this was really an incredible rally for Ethereum. That's just let's go here. This is even better. Let me go here to the boom. I mean, look at this thing. First you did this, and then you did this other big one. And I was not looking at that. If you look at your long-term charts, now the thing that's setting up is after this week. If we take out this week's lows. If we go down here and go down, this thing's toast, okay? And the same thing with Bitcoin. Let's go look at Bitcoin. That's why I just can't get too excited because the risk is so great. I mean, you have to be a buyer still, assuming it's not going to go down and hit that. But if we go and look at this Bitstamp, same thing. I mean, we should just go on up. But if this thing pops and takes out that week's low, we got big, you can see this thing just tailing off and we could have a prolonged bear market. I mean,
Yeah,
you just can't. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but to me, it's just not worth taking great big. Look down here. That's when I was taking big positions. You see how the risk was so small down here. Look at the little tiny what's going on. You know, back then I had 80, 100 Bitcoin on. Yeah, you know, I only have 4 or 5 Bitcoin on. Why do I? You know, it's not. This market is not this market. This market, you know, the market down here at 3,500 is not the market that we have now. Now, this thing could just keep on going and make new contract highs.
Right.
But it could be, the show could be over with too. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So what Ugly is showing is pretty much a skipped phase. We should have had a less of an angled phase, which we normally do with Bitcoin. We skipped that one. So it is possible that we're going to fall back on the previous, phase. And because it's hard to say whether that's going to happen or not. But at this point, Bitcoin is so bullish, it's kind of almost close to the euphoria stage. And it seems to be going up. And that's the climate right now. Bitcoin is going up. And when it breaks those lines that Ugly described, then you can say, okay, we now need to change our trading sentiment. The climate has changed. Now we need to look for more of a shorting opportunities than longing.
I'm not really looking for anything. I'm not. I don't know what to do in here. If you want to know the truth, I'm totally confused.
Yeah.
And if I had to do anything, I'd buy Bitcoin against this short Ethereum. But if I had stayed with my position, I might have gotten discombobulated in a different way. The whole thing is, when you take an equity hit like that, when my equity went from over 4, and again, I'm emphasizing that. I'm not emphasizing the chart. I'm emphasizing this, guys. This is what's important. Forget all the charts. Look at your equity. My equity dropped, man, too much. I lost a half a Bitcoin, which is nothing in the total scheme, but it is everything according to my account size now. Because I've taken, 30 and a half Bitcoin out of the market. But I'm not trading with those 30 and a half Bitcoin. I am only trading with 3.4. And yesterday I was trading with 4. And I don't like that I gave up a half a Bitcoin. I really don't like it. I hate it. Okay. And so I know something's wrong. I'm not thinking right in the market. So I might just get out completely and stop for a while. And slowly, very slowly, get that half a Bitcoin back. Now, once I get that half by trading just small positions, and once I get that back, say, okay, I got it back. Now I can jump in and take, a little heavier risk. I might double the position size. But I want to get right in the market first. I want to be in step.
So do you hear Ugly? Do you hear what he's saying? He's talking specifically when he said dynamic, that's what he means. Okay. He watches himself as well. He looks at his equity, and he looks the way he thinks. And if he doesn't feel like he understands the market, he doesn't try to break it, doesn't try to crack it. He just feels like he doesn't, and he skips a while, right? He waits for the next time. It doesn't need to prove anything. Yeah.
We're in the end here of July. We're going to go on a vacation with my family, and I'll probably just stop. I might write you guys, but I'll probably not trade at all because it's not fair to my family.
Yeah.
And so, that's, unless the market's in a trend and I happen to be right, I might just let things ride. I mean, I would love to see this Ethereum just continue on down.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it will.
And you are obviously mentioned that you are not going to revenge trade. You don't like losing 0.5 Bitcoin, but you're gonna go in and small.
Yeah, I'm going back. I'm not going back, and I'm not going to jump in there and try and make it all back on one trade.
Right.
I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be a smaller trader. I'm going to make that half Bitcoin up the hard way. I'm going to really work for it, And then once you work for it for a while, then later on, you'll hit a lick that comes really easy. And then you got to make sure it doesn't go to your head and you take some home. You got to take it home, guys. You got to take it home. So you want, so that's it. You wanted me to go through like the 2-day high and lows. I'll see if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that. It might work better on TradingView than
it's.
I can try here first. Let's go look. All right, guys. I'm a big believer in. I follow the 2-week, 2-day, and 30 minute. And somebody
2 week. You said 2 week.
2 week,
not weekly, but 2 week.
Weekly, but the significant things are 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I measure trend. If we're above the previous 2 weeks and we're in an uptrend, low, that's why I say I would love to see
guys
the markets break through that 2-week low, because I think we're going to have some big problems.
Yeah,
if we do that. And it's not that far down here anymore.
Yeah,
it's not that far down. But you can't anticipate it. It doesn't happen unless it happens.
Right.
But here you are on. This is Ethereum. Let's go to Bitcoin.
Guys, you're watching Ugly's technical analysis, so enjoy. That's what it looks like.
Okay. Somebody was asking about the stop and reverse, and guys, this is. It's just a way that you can kind of measure things. For the markets are generally not in a trend. They're usually choppy, and because of that, the stop and reverse, most of the time you can fade it. In other words, you can, if you go in here in this choppy, you can actually, when it broke through this, you're looking because it's probably going to break through on the downside, which it did, and you can you want to go the opposite way. Like when it's down here, then you go up here. And when it's up here, it's probably going to take out that low one, which it did. And then you have that, but then every now and again, and here's one too, it went up, and when it broke down through that, you could buy it. But then every now and again, when it broke through this one, it keeps on going up. So it's a great thing for reversals, and it works until it doesn't. So it is kind of an art that you have to learn. But and then the other thing is like your 30-day, your 2-day, 2-minute or 2-cycle reversals. For example, this is 30-minute. And you kind of watch this. Here you took out, here's the 2-day low, you broke through it, you continued down, and then here you come up and you actually took it out here barely, and then you reversed and went down, but finally when you reversed it through that 2-day, boom, see how it shot up? And then usually the first time it takes out the 2-day, this is another thing, this is a little tip I'll show you. Not always, but usually after it has a sharp up like this, the first time it takes out the 2-period low, you can buy it. See how this was a buy? It hesitated, but then it went back up. Okay, and the second time you don't want to do it because here it took it out and went on down. But here's one. Here's on this latest breakout on Bitcoin. Here it is. See how you had this huge breakout, Now, the first time it took out that 2-period low, 236, it took it out and then reversed. Boom. Okay. But the second time it did it. Well, here, this is kind of weird because it looks like you had a skip. Look at this. This is kind of interesting. Most normally, this skip is going to be, that gap will probably get filled. But you just don't know. That's very unusual. See that gap there. Oh, that's really unusual. Let's see what it looks like on the 5-minute. Wow, look at that. At the turn of the eye, I think that was at 5 o'clock. Let's see, that might be on the daily too. Let's look at the daily.
Yeah, it is unusual.
Yeah, it's a very unusual pattern. No, it doesn't mean anything because they're in the daily. We did take out the very smooth trading here.
And guys,
but here, okay, for example, on this here we took out the 2-day low, boom, and then it was good all the way through and you never took out here, then here you did it again. Okay. And actually, I bought this one. I caught this one very well. And then here you took out the 2 week, another one of these kind of, it's just something I look at. It's something that I use. It's just kind of the way I get the feel of things, and I find it useful. It may not be useful for you. Everybody has different things that they look at. Okay. And I know you guys can't believe this, but it's not that important. It's just not that important what technical tools you use.
Of course, I mean, other things that are more important, but you do make decisions, well enough for you to be that profitable. So,
right. I mean, I'm looking for a low risk situation. Okay. I'm
Low
looking
risk
for
situation.
a situation where the risk is very low.
All right.
So that's what I'm doing. Let's go look at, okay. See where Bitcoin is going. Well, we could have bought it down there. Look at that. That was kind of good. Now, here's another thing I'll kind of show you. You see this where you have the spikes? You know, this big thing, you have the spike down like this. It's not unusual for the market to eventually, and this would have been a good buy, because the market usually comes down to not where the spike is, but it comes down to where the close, the trading is. And so that's right in here. And look what happened. We went right down there. It got real close to it. We didn't
is that
break it.
1 minute candle?
Yeah, it's a 1 minute candle.
Yeah. Good advice, guys. So what Ugly just described to you, he goes pretty much by the eye. You can use Fibonacci. He Ugly doesn't need to use Fibonacci, okay? But for the beginners, if you're trying to learn and trying to understand if the pullback happens to what point it happens, you can try using, Ugly's just go with the eye. But you can also use Fibonacci, and eventually you won't need Fibonacci. You'll just look at the chart till you know exactly.
Here's another one. Now this is your September futures, but see how you had these spikes down, and then we rallied up. We went down here. We didn't go down here and test those spikes, but right in here is where that support was, and that's exactly where it found support. Yeah, right there. So it gives you, a very low risk trading opportunity. It's like anything else. You wouldn't trade that off of everything else, but we could go look. Let's see where the market is on the tone-based trading indicator, because that's a legitimate indicator to use. Let me go in here and see what that looks like. Only I'm going to put it on white because I like white better. All right. Doesn't really give you much, although let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see, that's a 1 hour. Let's go to the 30 minute.
Yeah, you scale it. So let me show you.
Okay. I don't look at the scale.
It's right here, just like that. You can rescale it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really good at using all this stuff. Okay. But yeah, there's really nothing there. There's you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A lot of times I don't even look at waiting for perfection. This would be a pretty good confirmation. Just forget the green 2 and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you know what? If you want to take a stab at buying it in here, and using a close stop, it'd probably be all right to do. So that so anyway.
All right, let's go to the questions now.
Okay.
So Will is asking, Ugly, when are you coming to Colombia?
I was in Colombia for the Bogota conference there in December of 2017. I love Colombia. I wouldn't mind going back. It's a beautiful country. I got a good friend from prison I lost touch with. I'd go down there in a minute if I could make contact with him, but I haven't been able to find him. But no, we didn't get much out of Bogota. I want to go to Medellin and some of the other cities down there, but I do. I have a high regard for Colombians because I was locked up with a lot of them, and none of them were. We put this on back in our picture. How do we do that?
Of course.
How do we do that? Stop.
Stop sharing. Yeah,
Okay.
Let's go back.
What do I do? Okay.
Just right here.
No, they're not gangbangers. They're businessmen, and and they kind of ran the prisons that I was in, the Fed system. They ran the stores, they had the stores, they did the laundry. They had a lot of side hustles. I mean, I had guys that they'd be sending money back home. You could work for the thing called Unicor, get various jobs and they were actually sending a couple $100, $200-$300 a month home. And some of the guys were making $1,000 or more a month in prison. They were hustlers, and they're honest businessmen, and they weren't the gangbangers. So I have a very high regard for Colombians as business people. I can understand why they were successful in the drug trade. So
All right. Etienne is asking, right, so why don't you trade other markets? Or if you do, which ones? The question is for both of you.
Why should I?
Exactly. My answer is the same. Why should I?
I've made look at the results. Why should I got something that works for me. I can trade the other markets, but then it just get confusing.
This is what I say, Tanya.
I do one thing, and plus if I did that, they're all regulated exchanges. They're going to want a minimum account, and all this stuff. And I used to do. I was a registered Series 7 securities dealer. One time I was a commodities broker. So I can go and do all that. But why should I? When Bitcoin's here, you guys can trade with $100 and turn it into 5,000. You see that can be done, and learn it that way, and then move on from there. It's just an incredible opportunity that you have. And it's completely, with BitMEX, it's completely, it's unregulated, which I think makes it a better market. Yeah, there were a lot of bad apples, but what emerged was BitMEX, and that's where most of the Bitcoin trading in the world is done. I notice on this, I go back on screen share. How do I go here?
Yeah, and BitMEX did it different way.
Okay, let me go to here. Now I go, how do I do this? Minimize?
Yeah, it's like now.
Okay, now I want to go here, and I want to go to this coin entity. Oh, there it is, Bitcoin entity. All right. Now, this used to be, they used to enclose BitMEX on here, but I noticed they took it off, and I'm sure all the other exchanges were complaining because BitMEX has more volume than all these put together by far. I mean, all these others look silly compared to, there's no volume here. All the volume's on BitMEX.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is where you can buy and actually take the BitMEX is a derivative, so you can't buy Bitcoin there. You can't buy it and take delivery. You want to do that on one of these exchanges. But, it's too bad they didn't keep that they changed this picture, so it just has these changes. They took BitMix off, which is really kind of sad because BitMix by far has all the volume,
Right.
and that's where the big boys play. I mean, that's where we don't need to go anywhere else. And why do we have to go through all the, as long as they don't. If you're in the United States, they won't take your account, so you can't be a U.S. citizen and trade it. And they won't even let me, even though I live in Mexico. The only reason I can trade there is my wife has an account, and so she trades. And of course, she does have the advantage of mirroring my trades.
Right.
So let's
Okay. So
let's get out of screen share again. I go.
yeah, sure. Just stop sharing at the bottom. The blue.
Stop sharing.
And I'll go back to the Chrome button at the bottom.
That one.
Yeah. And main screen.
All right.
All right.
There we go. All right.
Okay. So to expand on this one is you have to. I think that one of the principles you may want to employ is focusing on things. Right. If you scatter all over too many places, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's kind of like these guys that, we have a portfolio of crypto coins, including Bitcoin. No, you don't. I mean, they're not called shit coins without a reason. So you might want to speculate on them, as I do on Ethereum, but you don't want to own any of them.
No. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Next question. What do you think drove the price from 3K to 14K?
Buyers.
Demand.
Demand. Yeah. Well, what can you say?
Demand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. What Ugly is the way Ugly is thinking. The way I think is that we don't watch the news. We don't watch the fundamentals because fundamental people are not good traders. I mean, they're okay traders. It could be okay traders, but they're not because of the fundamental reasons, right? Because like, fundamentals showing us this thing, and just price doesn't care about fundamentals. Okay.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, there were very few bullish people when it was at 3,500. Everybody thought it was going to break 3,000, and I was the only one that said no. It's be very surprising to me if it broke 3,000. Because of the basis, which is a fundamental. Now that is a fundamental indicator, and it didn't. And then as it rose, everybody fell into step. More and more people got bullish the higher it goes, and that's the way markets work. And
right.
That's just the nature of the beast.
Right. Okay, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Okay, somebody is giving us a note to give more in advance notice. Good, that's noted. We will do that. We'll
more advance notice of what?
Of the program.
Of this, yeah, and you know what? I'm trying to think what time it is. We need to scatter them, because we do have a lot of people in Asia and Europe that are members, and so we're doing this at 6:42 Pacific time, and I don't know what time that would be. Like in Europe right now, it would be probably 2 in the morning or something like that. So we need to scatter these, so we're doing it at different times. I know if we did them in the morning, then Europe would get them, on a. Because we do need to figure that out and just do it on and I'll try and do one maybe this week, just by myself, so the people in Europe can ask specific questions, because I know you guys all do, and I don't mind answering the questions, but I really don't. But you're probably not going to get the answer that you want, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm not giving you specific buy points and sell points. So it doesn't work that way. So, and market's too fast even for that kind of a thing. No, generally yes. I mean, I made it very clear, it started in December that this market's bottomed out, again in January, all the way through. I was bullish. And, right now, I just, I'm still no reason not to be bullish, but this is not, It's a different market from what it was back there, last in the first quarter of this year.
Yeah, we have like a $400 $300 moves like in 1 minute. That's it's very different. All right, so Steak is saying, I want to thank you, UOG. I went from 0.15 BTC to 0.5 BTC, then lost all due to bad money management, but I did it again, going back to 0.5. I work full time and have 3 kids, so it is possible.
It is possible, guys. It really is. And you guys that are getting my stuff, and said, "Well, I can't really use this." But that's because you're wanting just to plug and play somehow. Just you think you're going to be able to follow me, which you're not. And I can't emphasize enough. You don't need to. It's not. You got to get what I'm teaching you. You got to get. And you know what? I need to start writing those. If you can write those down, because I got so many testimonials. I got people that done better than that. Said, "Wow, since I've changed my thinking, I've made 10 times on my account." I said, "Yeah, I know. It's not that hard, is it?" But you have to change it, and it's a fundamental way of thinking. And you know what? When somebody asks me, they say, I'll sum it up real easy. When I was at the Unconfiscatable conference, and I know I offended this person. Somebody came, "Oh, ugly, I read all of your material. I'm really impressed, about, what you do. What do you think the price is going?" I said, "What?" I said, "I don't think you read my stuff, because you know that I have no clue where the market is going. You can ask me where my position is and I'll tell you, but don't ask me where the market's going. You haven't read my stuff. You haven't got what I'm teaching."
Yeah, because
I'll tell you my position. That's no secret. Everybody, you guys can see it, but don't ask me where the market's going, because I don't know.
Yeah, you guys need to live in the present moment, okay? And stop thinking that you can predict the future. Living in the present moment, right? And we have another question, and I think it kind of ties in with what Ugly is saying right now. Also, do you think that Tether printing could be a reason for this price push? What if Tether isn't back to 1-to-1 and they keep printing out of thin air? Just wondering.
What's that?
So Rocky is asking, what do you think about Tether printing? Could be a reason for this price push.
What printing? What?
Tether.
Tether. Oh,
Yeah,
Tether.
Yeah.
I don't think it either way, and it's just not an event for me.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I do about it? Tether's just part of the market.
Yeah, Rocky, those reasons are completely irrelevant to your trading success. You got to get an escape from that nonsense and thinking that there's, one news or like one event is moving the market. Market doesn't move like that. Market moves because the market moves. It's a natural phenomenon.
There are some fundamental reasons, and I can say one of those fundamental things that I emphasize, and people are starting to get it, and that is the basis, because it fundamentally, the market, it's forcing the market to shift in a certain way. And we fundamentally now, it's possible now to have the bear market where it was not possible to break $3,000 when it was at 3,500. Now that it's at 11,000, there's a 50% chance we can go back down there and break that 3,000. So that's which is completely different thinking than.
But Ugly, like, what I'm afraid is that listeners will just gonna take it and use this as a input for trading. It's like, oh, Ugly said that we may go to 3,000 and change that. And no, this is not. It's not that. That's why. Everything is in the price action real time.
Right. I'm just saying that it's much more likely that we can from here. I didn't think it was possible that we could break. I thought it was I didn't say that it was possible. It's always possible. But I said it was extremely unlikely we would break 3,000. Now it's as likely to break 3,000 as not break 3,000. I think it's a 50-50 chance. If we start in a bear from here, it could get pretty ugly. So,
yeah, but we will see when if that happens.
Right, and it will affect nobody except the speculators. And the whole reason is it will only affect. It's only going to the stupid money. It's the only one that's going to hurt. Because I guarantee you, the smart miners, they've hedged their position. They've made it for the year. This rally that we took up to past 11,000, up to what, 14 and a half. They were able to sell just part of their production and lock in a profit for the year. And they're not going to cover their short Decembers. They sold the September to sell production, their July, August, and September production. They sold December to sell their October, November, and December production. And they didn't have to sell all of it. But they're guaranteed, even if they lose, if the market goes up to 100,000, doesn't matter. They lost on the market, but they more than made up for it on the Bitcoin mining that they're producing. And you have to understand that. So the only ones that are really can be set up and be devastated are the speculators that were willing to pay, from $400 to $800 over spot for the privilege of owning a futures at $14,000, $15,000.
Right.
And you know what? They're still in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know, guys, if you watched, my Telegram post, because I posted when there was H within Y fractal, this big fractal, and I think it was Andy that posted, and he got in and he pretty much showed us. So that obviously worked out for him. But what I'm trying to say is that H within Y fractals usually takes out the previous high. Right, that's what usually happens. Either it takes previous high or draws another, H fractal. That's what normally happens. Not saying that it will happen, but I'm until I see the pattern breaking down. That's what's happening. So, to give you a little bit like a technical thing, I think if we're breaking this fractal that we're in right now, then things not looking that well. But until that happens, things are going up. Yeah.
There's no reason to be bearish now, really, but it's very risky trading right now, and you just have to be. And like I said, I'm kind of at the point I might just step out and take a break.
Yeah. You gotta,
guys. I don't need to do this. I really don't. I'm doing it because because I want to show you that it can be done and you can do it. Okay. I really, that, and my emphasis is not the trading, but it's you guys to become hodlers, to become Bitcoin entrepreneurs. You still have to do business. For example, I had a big phone bill. I have another business that is a voice broadcasting business, and so I had to buy a server for a year. And I had a big I had a big balance on my PayPal, so I paid it a year in advance from my PayPal. But the guy also takes Bitcoin. But I said, you know what? I don't like PayPal because I've gotten burnt on PayPal and they hold funds. And I sent one of the speakers $1,000 and he didn't want it, so I couldn't get it back for a month. It's just all kinds of problems with it. But we still do business in the fiat. And so, but we're in a dual world, and you want to start. And that's one reason why I started. When I started the website, I wanted to put a referral system on there, because I know what I'm teaching, it works, and you guys. When you figure it out, say, wow, it does work, then I know you're not going to have any problems referring, what I'm teaching. But I also don't want people to have unrealistic expectations. I mean, some people bought this thing thinking it was a that they were going to be able to just mirror my trades. I said, no, you're going to get my history. It doesn't mean you because it's going to be after the fact. Trading's dynamic. It's quick. It's fast. I'm moving. I can't sit there, put out a trade alert. By the time you get a trade alert, that moves over. It's toast. So if I would do something like that, the only way it would be available would you'd have to have actual, what you call it, do it yourself
DIY.
Money manager, where you have access to my account all the time. So whenever you see I'm moving, you can try and follow me. But even that's going to be difficult because you're going to see it after I do it.
Yes, but if people are, plugged in, they could see it like almost real time.
Yeah, and that to almost be on there 24 hours a day, which is going to be, plus you're not learning that way, and you're just
right.
not. And I like to, I don't need the money. I really don't. I want to do. I just, and that's why this conference and cruise that we're doing, the emphasis is not going to be on trading. It's going to be on practical stuff. It's how you can put Bitcoin into your life, and and how we do slowly persuade others of its importance. And trading should be a very small part of the whole scheme. If it's the number one thing, then you probably will have a hard time because it's not that important. It really isn't. It seems like it is, but it's really not. So I don't know if I can emphasize that enough to you too. I mean, I've made a lot of money trading, so yeah, in that sense, yeah, it's important. I know what I'm doing, and so, but I've also made it through other businesses, and that enabled me to buy my HODL. And yes, I got in, under $100. My first HODL was under $100 in August of 2013. But that's just true of anybody. The farther back you go, the better price you bought it at, and that is the general nature of Bitcoin. And we'll be looking back 5 years and saying the same thing. You guys that are hodling today will likely be highly rewarded. That's just that simple. So.
Yeah. All right, guys. So shoot some more questions if you have any more questions. I just want to mention that I created this mentorship group. I had a lot of demand for it, because I'm setting out to teach to trade the way Ugly trades, and hopefully we'll see what happens within 3 months time. My commitment is that until you become a consistently profitable trader, until I see that you understand the principles, not only intellectually, but you live it and you show me that you can do it, until that happens, I'm not going to graduate you from that program. And so that's pretty much my commitment and the guarantee. If you are interested, because right now I took 10 people on, and there's so many other people want to join that I can't just have too many people in one class. So, but there's a lot of demand, and I'm kind of thinking perhaps we'll see if I can create 2 groups and have one novice group and the other one a little bit more experienced traders. So we'll see if I can manage that, because that would make increase the demand on my time as well. But if you're interested, I just created a Telegram channel. If you're not already on that Telegram channel, just go and join. It's I call it Mixed Trading Arts. Go and check it out. And
any more questions?
Oh, so Adam's asking, what do you post on Telegram? So I just posted the link for you. All right, question. Can you explain your trade history? I don't quite understand it. Are you trading the options or futures? And what should we do if we cannot trade options or futures?
I'm trading on BitMEX. I'm trading the per contract and the futures contracts. I don't trade any of they have some kind of a up, down, or option on there. I don't do that. But the what you're getting is the actual trading file from BitMEX, which can be, if you open a BitMEX account, you can download your history. Now the problem with it is you can, when you download, you only get the front page. So I had to specially ask them to send me the entire CSV file of the history from the very beginning, which they did, and is sent to you. And so it is updated every time I send a newsletter out to you. You get a screenshot of the account, and you get the latest CSV file, which is just the latest page. So you should, unless I did a whole lot of trading and it's more than fits in one page, you're going to see the trading that went on between one newsletter and the other one. So I think that if you have a BitMEX account, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, because you can create your own trading history. It's there. They're very good at providing it. If you want to get the whole thing in one CSV file, you just need to email them, and they'll generate it for you and send it.
All right, guys. So shoot some more questions. Rocky's asking, what EMA do you use other indicators that they should? Rocky, listen, this is if Ugly answers that question, you're not going to become a better trader because he answered that question.
You want to know the truth? I don't use moving averages.
Yeah, so
I don't use them at all. I don't use a lot of the stuff, the stochastic stuff, all that, those little waves and stuff you see at the bottom. I don't use any of that stuff. I just look at the market, and I look at, I'm looking at, and
also
I figure, moving averages are just, you can figure out the 5 days is, you just count 5 days back, and that's what the moving average is. It goes up or down. It goes up or down. A moving average is just a visual.
Right.
That's all it is. It's not, it's a visual.
Ugly's technical.
And I don't need the visual. I guess I just, all I need is kind of the high, low, and close. That's all I'm looking at.
Yeah. So all the TA Ugly is doing, he showed you, right? That was Ugly's TA. Okay. So if that doesn't send the message to you, that stop intellectually masturbating with the freaking TA, enough is enough. That's not how you become profitable. And also, I want to ask you a question. If almost everybody focus on TA, and 90% of people in the market are losers, then you do the math. You tell me who's profitable. And if you find the TA expert who is profitable and consistently profitable, it's probably because he has emotional maturity, a good money management practices, and a good pattern recognition skills. It's not because of TA. He may just believe that it's because of TA.
Right.
But it's not because of that.
I mean, like, I have the highest regard for Tone, and he knows that I do. And he is a great technical analyst, but it's not, to me, and he thinks, but you know what? He automatically understands that it's already assumed that the money management, and you know what? The difference is, I know that most people don't have, that's the missing link. It is the missing link. That's the 95%. There's one thing all losers have in common. They screwed up on the money management. Every one of them have that. So you got to overcome that. And you know what? Once you do, you will be successful. I know it sounds so silly, but it really will. Even if you're a lousy trader like me. I'm not that good, guys. You're putting stuff on me that just isn't true. I'm not that great a trader. Okay.
Well, in the grand of schemes, you are. Maybe you're not that great of a technical analyst, but you are a great of a trader in the grand of schemes.
By far greater traders than me, or technical analysts. Yeah, I would say that too.
Yeah.
So, but that's not what makes you successful.
Right.
I've seen guys could call tops and bottoms, and I've seen some great techniques, but their wealth does not reflect their ability, their technical ability.
Right, because it rests somewhere else. So focus on these other things, and that's what's going to improve your results, and make you consistently, profitable, not on technical. It's Look, I always say that when you let's say break up with your wife, or like break up with your girlfriend, and then you go into the dating, and then you get, okay, I need to now get back in the field and sort of raise up my skills. And everybody's talking about technical stuff like pickup lines. You can learn the 15,000 pickup lines, and you're not going to have a good wife or a good girlfriend. That's not where the answer is. Nobody wants to marry the guy who knows that many pickup lines. So don't be that guy. Don't be that technical person who knows every single indicator but has nothing to show for. Quit that. Some of it is okay. Some of it. Take some of it. Use some of it, and scrap the rest. Forget about it.
Okay, let's see where we're at. I don't see. I don't even have anything up there. Well, let's see where's my. Well, I got to log in again. All right. Okay, 7, 2. Let's see what we're doing. Yeah, I'll probably just not be trading much. I kind of want to just get out of it for a while. Now it looks like, what are we doing here? Yeah, we're not doing much. So, I don't know, anything else you guys want me to answer? I'll be
Come on, guys, this is an opportunity for you. Ask anything. Maybe you're afraid to ask questions. Questions like where the price is going. Don't ask these questions. I actually would like to ask you a question. I want to know, why are you doing this? What's the primary purpose? Why do you need that money? Why do you become a successful trader? I'm curious to know. So, go ahead and shoot the answers. Don't be shy.
Well, I do it because I am very good at it, and I'm confident in it, but I also realize all the pitfalls and how it can completely dominate your life. Particularly, I when I was in the top 10 on BitMEX and in the notational, I mean, I had sleepless nights sometimes but I was, trading the large positions, and that's not really worth it. And I don't need to. And that's, I said, you know what? I don't need to do this. And my trading got better. Guess what? I'm responsible to you guys. My trading got better. Let's go look at this notational. This is kind of interesting. Let's go to, let's see, more details. And here's the leadership board. Now, my count was completely closed. Okay. Now, believe it or not, when I did this, I was in the top 10, and I think I had about profit of 430 Bitcoin or something like that. Now here's Cream White Ox. I remember he was number one for the longest time, and he was at 650 Bitcoin. Now I can't even get in here anymore because my account, they closed it when they found out I was a U.S. citizen, but it was toast history. And some of the heavy he's just done tremendously. I mean, I think some of these guys, and 2018, I traded all year and just broke even until that break from 6,000 to 3,500. And then I had already made the decision, you know what, I'm not going to trade in a big way. If I had traded that year, maybe I'd have run my 400 up to 500 or 600. And then this year, if I traded that way, I would probably be in the top 10 again if I had that kind of position on. But I don't, why do I don't need 1,000 Bitcoin, guys. I mean, it'd be nice and all that, but I'm an old guy. I got a family. I got a life, and so I don't need this. I don't. I did it. You guys can see what I'm doing, and it works. And yeah, I mean, if I did kept going where I was at, I probably would be in the top 10
Right.
after this year. I mean, this year I would have, if I'd have started it, let's say I started with 40 or 50 Bitcoin and I ran it up to, it's 50 times 15. I made 15 times. Let's see, I got to get my calculator here. No, I mean, here, if I had 40 Bitcoin on the account and I did 15 times that'd be 600 Bitcoin. Okay, I may not be in the top 10, but I'd be in the top 25. But I could have been trading with 80 Bitcoin, and then that would have been 1,200 Bitcoin, and then I would have, actually, even then I wouldn't be in the top 10. The top 10, you got to have 1,400 Bitcoin. So, it would have been tough to stay in that top 10, but I certainly, I cut back. I cut back so I can, when I started writing the Medium articles, I can't live that life of, where I've got this huge amount of, wealth floating on the market every day. If I get wiped out now with 3.5 Bitcoins, it's not going to affect my life one way or another. It's just not going to do it. So,
yeah. So, you see, Ugly is prioritizing other things in life that are more important. Question: what kind of strategy what kind of strategy to invest in BTC will you suggest? Well, DCA, read the Ugly's article about dollar cost averaging. He wrote quite a few of them. Read those. That's the best strategy for most people.
Yeah, for most people, and again, all you got to do is go here. The best edition is on Medium, and just all you got to do is plug in, how to. There it is. How to achieve. Okay, that's, whoops. Oh, I don't know. I'm not on this computer very much. So it looks like I got to sign up. I can't even get to it. Get in this
No, sign in perhaps.
Oh, there it is. I'll just choose this. Go here. I should be able to get in. All right. Okay, so there it is. This is my flagship article, and it was written way back. That's when I first started, back in April of 2018. And this is the strategy that you follow. It just, and the results, we try and keep it updated. I mean, here's the results of dollar averaging. If you started at the previous peak in January 15th of 2014, when the market was over $1,000. Actually, it was 874. It didn't stay there. It just peaked there. And then if you just put in $500 a month, your average price now would be $645, and a $33,000 investment would be worth close to $500,000. Now, if you started at the very worst time, again, which was December 15th of 2017, and you started buying at 17,000, and you bought the dollar at cost averaging by its very definition. If you do a fixed amount every month, by definition, you're going to buy more at lower prices than at higher prices. So that's what happens here. So if you start at the very worst timing, you spent $500 a month, you got $9,500 investment, and you have a nice, healthy return of $14,500. Okay. And, hope the price goes down. I mean, I'd love for that market to drop down to 3,000, because I know I'll be a buyer down there in a big, big way. And I'm not saying hey guys, that's not a prediction. I'm just saying that, it would be fine with me if it does. I'm totally psychologically prepared for it if it happens. It won't be pleasant because, I will cut back on spending because I don't want to sell Bitcoin at those levels. I want to be buying. So that that'll change my, right now I don't have any problem spending Bitcoin, and I am as I'm making a profit. Somebody asked me, well, when I was number one in BitMEX, was I selling? Yes, I was. Yes, I took over $400 Bitcoin, 400 Bitcoin out of the market that year, 400 and something. I didn't have 400 at the end of the year because I'd sold, a large portion of it. And you take the profit, but it doesn't mean my HODL didn't grow. My HODL did grow, but I didn't save it all. And again, that's one mistake that I call chronic hodlers have made. They hodl, and they never take anything out to enjoy life. They never take anything out to reward themselves or their family. They never diversify into other things. And, Bitcoin is a tool, and it's a very, very useful tool. And particularly if you're an entrepreneur, and in my mind, the next wave is going to come from people like me and you. If you're in business, if you're not, don't have a business, okay. If you're work for somebody else, consider yourself an apprentice. I mean, but hopefully it's your goal that you do want to have a business. And one way you can do that is to get into, various Bitcoin affiliate programs. That's why I did that, so that you want to start, if you can, figure out a way to have a revenue stream in Bitcoin. So that's what I teach. And I mean, here's another example. I mean, I just kind of have fun with Bitcoin because I hear on the radio all the time, at least around San Diego's, they have these special financial advisors. Oh, you need to take your Social Security in the right way, or you'll be giving away too much. Well, the way I took my Social Security is I started taking it as fast as I could as soon as it was available to me. And of course, if you just double it, because I think my benefit's about $1,000 a month. So just double this, and that's what you make. I put my Social Security every month into Bitcoin and made $1 million off of it. So yeah, there's not too many financial advisors that will prove that kind of a record, and they consider me a nutcase because I say, yeah, just take your Social Security and buy Bitcoin with it. That's what you do. It's free government, and not free government money because you paid into it. So take that money and buy Bitcoin with it.
Yeah.
Just buy Bitcoin with it.
Yeah.
And that's going to take care of your retirement. I guarantee you the Social Security isn't going to help you retire.
That's actually very great advice, is that if you have any kind of retirement that you're putting in, is that it's guaranteed not to be a good deal for you. Right. Social Security is guaranteed not to be a good deal. Way worse deal. If you were to take that money at dollar cost averaging, like Ugly is describing, you can ensure your retirement within 10 years. Okay. So you have to think. I know that this is not what the government officials are saying, and this is not what the mainstream media are saying, but they don't care whether you're going to be wealthy or not, right? They're interested to everything is designed is to exploit as much as possible, and it's absolutely horrific for me to see that happening, that the government is set things up, and it's not even the government, and the government is just a bunch of people that try to do most of the time the best they can. Is when they get corrupt by the special interest, that's when things go wrong. And something like Social Security did get corrupt. It's a scam right now. All yours 401ks and everything that you name it. This is all a scheme, a default way of taking money away from you. But you got to take your own personal financial responsibility, And one thing I can say about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin went up, it dropped down 90%. What was it? 3 times already, and it keeps pumping. It keeps going up. So the bubbles don't do that. Okay, Bitcoin is not a bubble. But if you have patience, if you're totally fine buying, $500 a month or $1,000 a month of Bitcoin at any price, even if it keeps going down to 1,000, but it doesn't phase you. You keep doing it, and then you're gonna be well
All right,
off.
and this newsletter that you guys are getting, this is just part of the package of what I'm trying to get through you guys' head. I mean, this is changing the world, and you really, and yeah, I emphasize that, in particular, if you want to promote the newsletter, I need to probably I think I put it on that website to make it more clear. But if you don't have a HODL, you're not ready you don't need my newsletter. If you want to learn how to trade and how to kind of go to the next level, then the newsletter can be very helpful. But you don't need it, and you don't even need it. You can learn this stuff from my free stuff, but I do try and show you the tips that I use. As we go along, it's and I'm having fun doing it. And but I'm trying to teach you other things too. It's not just the HODL. Once you have the HODL, then you have two other steps to learn, and that's why I call it SAVE, and that's SAYVV, which is a distortion of the word savvy, because you guys are, once you HODL, you need to enjoy it, and that's just being savvy. Hey, you know what? Look at Ugly. He's got a new truck. How did he do that? People say you're savvy, okay, but you have to reward yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean you have to flaunt wealth or anything like that, but things that you want and need, go ahead, take the vacation, get a new computer, whatever it is. And then the last thing you do is you want to build it. And by build it, you want to invest in other things. In other words, you want to diversify. If there was a time, I had my business, and the best investment you can have is a small business. I had my small business, but I was in debt because I had to buy equipment. But finally, I had a really good year in 2016, paid off all that debt, and I was able to add to I already had a HODL, but I added to it, and with a nice lump sum. So that helped too. And I continued to HODL. But then, as that HODL grew, we've diversified. I mean, we have bought several houses. We have, new cars. We have, a rental property that we have. We bought a lot of factory equipment, and because, I know what I'm doing, but I don't expect the goat lady, may never understand it. Trading's not for everybody. I know how to. I'm the most clumsy, worthless person with my hands in the universe. I can't do crap, But I know one thing. I know how to trade Bitcoin, and that's what I'm here to teach you. And I know how to manage your wealth using Bitcoin. And so that's what we do. We HODL. And then you want to enjoy some, and then you want to diversify or build and you're building a Bitcoin business. We don't have it up on our website now, but we're going to do our own. She's going to actually make the hats and make the t-shirts that we're going to sell on the website. And plus, the Bitcoin economy is the future. I'm saying it's not just wealth. It's going to be a cultural change, and the Bitcoin people of today with integrity are actually going to be the fashion and trendsetters of tomorrow, because people are going to look up to us, and we're also going to have tremendous freedom. We're not stuck in one country. If Mexico goes bad, we can readily escape. It's not like being stuck in the Soviet Union like Kestutis. I mean, you were stuck, and you could tell us your story.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the communist, Soviet Union, and when I was growing up, then I didn't question, the fish doesn't know it's wet, so I didn't know as a kid, what is going on. But if anybody would tell me, hey, don't you see how oppressed you're living, that everybody's equal, and if you have any kind of drive, if you have any kind of desire to accomplish something more, build something more, there is no path for you, right? It's just you stay at the same equal, right? And everybody's asking for the equality. Well, let me tell you something. I lived in equality, and it couldn't be more horrible. You know, I it's a bad idea. Imagine you trying to create a business or something that you have this idea and there's no chance. Imagine not being able to leave the country. Imagine nothing comes out of the country. I didn't eat. I didn't see the I mean, I didn't had a taste of bananas until I was, 16 years old. Right? There was no such thing that they just wouldn't import things from abroad. If someone would smuggle the bubble gum, that would be amazing, because imported bubble gum. So the moral of the story is that capitalism, uncorrupt capitalism, the free markets is a great idea. It's and that was the founding father idea, right? Founding fathers, that's was their idea. And I don't know if they tripped on psychedelics or something, I don't know, but they had some great ideas, and the idea was very simple. Let's have the free markets, because they were oppressed by the British Empire and they knew what evil is. So then they said, let's not have that anymore. They went to war over 2% tax, guys, and now people take 50% tax and bend over, right? It's not, something is wrong with that. That's not what the America was meant to be. And it went wrong at some point. So now what we have, what the idea was is that create a free market and protect it, and create a protectorate, create a military protectorate, and create the not the government, right? Because the government is not exactly is to control, right? Is to control, and then we all know that just like with the money creation, people can get corrupted, and that goes haywire. Same thing with the government. People in the government get corrupted, and things get haywire, right? So what the idea was to create a military protectorate, and it would act as a protectorate of the free markets and of that environment. And it's still a great idea. And I still hope that someday we'll have that protectorate would not go to war over the commercially incentivized, things, we would not do these things. Protectorate would just protect. There would be so much abundance. The military would be so strong, but they would never get incentivized. Invading another country in terms of gaining more and more power, and that comes out of insecurity. That's not a good government.
Hey, guys, on this channel, the Ask Ugly Anything, all we did, this is very private, and we only sent it to subscribers. You got an email notification, and I think Kestutis also put it on his Telegram group where he's mentoring people that want to be mentored. But I think I will go ahead and let you guys, when we do an Ask Ugly Anything, if you have somebody that is interested in what we're doing, I'm not opposed that you go ahead and forward that. I just don't want to put it out on Twitter, my Twitter, because I've got a lot of followers. But if you have somebody that is truly interested in Bitcoin, and you have a personal relationship with them, and you would say, what, you can tune in on this. This is what I get with my subscription. Now, I do ask that you not send the newsletters. I sent one out that you could share with others. Because I don't, you guys have that trading history, and that really is proprietary, and it is for you. It's only for you. And you, when you got the subscription, it was under the agreement that it's only for you, and you're not going to share it. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't share it with your wife or your children, but you know what I mean. It would just not. It is for you guys, and it's for your benefit. And you paid a lot of money for this. And, I am here to give you the best possible advice and to set the best possible example. But also, I want to make it clear that this is not, and you need to make it, this is not something where people can mirror my trades or ride on my coattails. I'm trying to teach you I'm thoroughly convinced that everyone that is a subscriber can become a very successful trader. I really think you guys can, or I wouldn't be doing this. And some people think this, oh, somebody wrote me and said, oh, this is way over my head. This isn't for me. No, it's not way over your head. The principles that I'm teaching are very, very simple, but you got to get those in. Then you can do the more technical things. You don't need a vast technical knowledge to make this work. And my goal is for 85% of it. I mean, I realize not everybody's going to be, and not everybody's going to get the message. But if you paid good money, listen to the message I'm teaching, get it through your head, and I'm confident that 85% of you can be very successful in your trading. It's not, and you see, mine's not perfect. I make lots of errors, but you're never going to get wiped out. You're just never going to get wiped out if you follow what I'm saying. You can't. It's impossible. When somebody wrote me and said, "Well, I've subscribed and my trading still, I'm still getting killed." Well, no, not if you're following what I said, because you should be trading just a very, very small amount. Most likely what had happened is he's lost a lot of money and kept trading the same way and thought he could mirror my trades or something. No, you don't get it. If you've taken some big hits in this market, you need to really cut back. You need to, it's like what is it, when you cauterize that wound, you got to you can't trade anymore like that. You got to stop. Trade with $100. Oh boy, how am I going to ever make back the $100,000 I lost if I trade $100?
If you're good, you can.
You can. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You see that it can be done. You got to change your thinking.
Yeah, you got to change your thinking. It's I do understand the appeal. I do understand that you're trying to hack life, and you think that you can just subscribe to the Uglies newsletter and you won't need to do any work. No, that's the educational material. You do need to do a lot of work. You do need to study. You need to read these articles 5-10 times, okay? Get these principles, print them out on the wall and see them, look at them every day. Because I bet you the person who had that unsuccessful trade, I bet you that person was not following these principles. I bet you that person understood this, but he
wasn't following, or he wouldn't have had the experience. Yeah, it's that clear cut. It's just that it's that simple. Okay, the reason I have Kestutis here is actually Zazo Duarte that said, hey, you need to see what Kestutis is doing here. And I'm not I'm just not that big on technical. I mean, my philosophy is find the technical indicators you like, use those and stick with them. And when you find it, you might make adjustments. You just switch a little bit here, don't make radical changes, okay? But when he issued a challenge, I had it up, I have a screen up in another office, it was up on the wall, and my assistant was there. And so this guy says, if I look at a chart, look what he shows me, I'll never look at a chart the same way. And I laughed and said, the chart's a chart. I'm not. But he was right. He showed me a different way of looking at it. Now, I'm not a big one on Fibonacci's. I've known about Fibonacci's for 40 years. I've never really, been a big fan, never really used them, never had to. And Kestutis is, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But what he showed me a pattern that I hadn't seen before. And I don't even know if it can be incorporated. But to me, it's not that important. If Kestutis can apply his technical skills with the proper money management, his system will be very, very successful. And he was wondering about me because he's been faithfully using stops and got blown out one time, but it didn't get filled because it was a stop limit. I said, yeah, there's no way around that, and you're going to get slippage. And so when he came today, he said, you know what, I want to start this trading and we'll do paper trading. I said, no, Kestutis, you can't do the paper trading. It doesn't work. You don't have to trade a lot. But look, BitMEX is the only place in the whole world where you can take $100 and make it into $5,000. You can't do that anywhere in the United States. Now, isn't it funny that the United States won't let you trade in the only exchange that gives you the biggest opportunity in the whole world? There's something wrong in the country you're living in, fellas. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. And it's not pretty. You know, I'm not in, you know,
It's not the coffee.
you know,
It's not the smell of the coffee.
You know what? I love my country. I love our Constitution, but I despise our government. I'm sorry. I despise our government. And I think that's a healthy view. And there's very, very trying times. And if you live in the United States, you should very much consider moving. And I mean, I know I and others in the current situation, we're very much, you know, to the point that, you know, I understand why people renounce their citizenship. And that might have to be done too someday. I hope not, because again, I love America. I love where I was born. But you don't have the freedom anymore, and you need to really understand that. You need to understand that there's a lot of people that don't want to do business with you because you're an American citizen. Because with all these treaties, our government has their hands on. You know, when I grew up, the FBI was the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. It was only in the United States. Now it's all over the world. Well, what's that about? You know, what's that about? Why do we need to have an FBI everywhere in the world when it was supposed to just be, you know, to protect us against evildoers within our own borders? And now it's not even that. It's really, you know, is to have something on you. It's having control. And, you know, like I say, I have I have a very high regard for Arthur Hayes and the exchange that he's created. So I know some people don't, but I do, because I've been around the block and I know how, and the battles he's fighting, and he has to enforce it. I mean, the only reason the heat's not on him is he's showing, you know what, if we have any indication that you're a U.S. citizen, we shut that account down. We don't let them trade. We don't give them any benefits. I mean, I know I was making, you know, half a Bitcoin a year off of referrals and they closed my account and they found out I was a U.S. citizen. I said, but I'm living in Mexico. I'm a resident in Mexico. Doesn't make any difference. So, you know, there's not the advantage it used to be. It used to be being a U.S. citizen, you know, was a ticket to the whole rest of the world. Right now, it is an obstacle, being a United States citizen. And it's sad. It's very sad that that's the case.
It's a trick. They managed to sell you the freedom, but there's actually a slavery. It's you know, you have the way they do it is that they put you like all this entertainment, right, to keep you occupied with that, make you fight between each other. It's always like a gender wars. That's made up. That's to make you fight with each other. Men and women been living together for thousands of years, and they created great things. And now what we're seeing, they're fighting each other. They don't even want to deal with each other. What the hell? That, you know, that's not intrinsically coming from the female or the male. That's what the media is doing. And if you go to the countries that doesn't have these type of things, you see the same beautiful relationships that still exist. Not in U.S. anymore, right? Just few people who don't watch the news, don't watch.
Yeah, still here in Mexico to a large degree.
Right.
I mean, you see the influence that the United States has had, but yeah, in the third world countries, you know, men are men and women are women. Right.
Still that. And in order for to unite the country, obviously, all the trick in the book is to create a war. That is why United States will be at war with somebody at all times, because that's the link, that's the material that makes people not to go and riot on the streets, right? It just keeps unifying, and they're building all these different structures around to keep you controlled, and they're seeing how much they can push, right? And they have best, perception control, all these kind of things. And it works. It works perfectly. They can make a person believe that the person is free, even though there's all these different restrictions around you. But you don't even see it. And you say, no, it's for your protection. For your own security, please add the number over here. The Google likes to do that. They say, it's just for your own security. Oh, thank you, Google. Thank you for worrying about my security.
Coinbase did that to me. They wanted. I would say, so I told them exactly what I was doing. I was buying Bitcoin at Coinbase, and then I would send it to here in Mexico and be selling it. And they, for some reason, they didn't like it. They shut my account down, and I had to sue them because the way they did it, I took a huge loss because I was arbitraging, and they didn't honor their end of their arbitrage. Those are other stories, but. Anyway, guys,
I just want to mention something. I don't consider fractal analysis technical analysis. Okay. I don't consider that. I also don't consider Fibonacci technical because it's a ratio that is measuring not specific, numbers. Okay. I don't have.
Would you consider it being as a reflection of nature?
Exactly, because I can show you a big fractal and a small fractal, and they look identical. So whenever you see a small fractal behaving like you just saw a much bigger fractal, you got a lot of information there, right? And you can measure that big fractal or a small fractal, and you'll see the same ratios appear.
Well, the only reason I consider it technical is because of Fibonacci, you're taking it from a certain point in the market. And so that's why I consider it technical, but I understand, that's what I mean by
I just want to differentiate that from
that's not really fundamental. It's more natural. You look at
natural analysis
phenomena.
Yes,
Which is, and that's why I say, and it is. I mean, I can't argue with that. That's why I said when I saw his pattern of the Y and the H's, which they were always there. I just never looked at it that way.
Right.
And so, now that I see it, I don't really use it because I don't get it. I don't get it. I said, okay, there's some Y's and there's some H's, but what the heck am I supposed to do with them?
Right. So what the way Ugly trades is that he has a Fibonacci in his mind. I'm like, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
He does. Like, because Ugly finds it very difficult to explain the way he makes decisions. I don't think he's, that's an interesting topic, but I don't think Ugly is conscious about his decision making. I think Ugly is really good at pattern recognition, but he doesn't know it. I think that's why.
Really good at what?
Pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition.
Yeah. I think you recognize the patterns and you capitalize on the patterns despite any kind of other, whether it's fundamental.
I agree with that. Yeah, pattern recognition, that's legitimate.
Yeah.
Because a pattern, it may not duplicate it or
right,
but it gives you
the moments.
Very high percentage chance with a very low risk, and that's what you're looking for.
Exactly.
You're looking to jump in there, and it's different, and you can do it short term and medium term. Like if like back there when I was really bullish the market. I mean, you guys know you were following me back there. I mean, I had a huge. I think I had like 200. I only had 2 Bitcoin in the account, but I had an equity drawdown, which really pissed me off.
So
about 4 Bitcoin, but I had a huge position on, and we were driving back to Vegas, and I got stopped out. But I had to jump back in. But since I lost, I couldn't jump back in with that original position. And but still, it worked out because of the money management. But during that whole, I mean, now you look back, look how little risk there was back in the market back then compared to now. It's incredible. I could take a huge position. I'm not trading. I got 100,000 Bitcoin. That's a lot now. $100,000, which isn't even 5 Bitcoin. That's 4 Bitcoin.
Right.
But think about 4 Bitcoin. That's nothing to sneeze at now.
Yeah, the making Bitcoin and focusing on making Bitcoin is pretty ludicrous. Instead of trying to make $1, you try to make a Bitcoin.
Yeah, I look at everything in Bitcoin, and like I say, every year I've been profitable trading on BitMEX in terms of Bitcoin. Of course, in 2000 And 18, in terms of dollars, I wasn't successful at all. Nobody was.
But you can wait for a year, you know?
Yeah.
You can wait
But
for a year.
yeah, but my hollow never, was diminished and it grew. So that's the key. And so now when it goes up, I'm back in the driver's seat, and that's the key. I mean, it's and you can't get over excited either way. You can't get over depressed, and you just, and you want to limit that exposure you have. Zazo made a beautiful, wonderful mistake in his youth, and I think he learned from it. And this is my prediction. He is going to evolve into one of the great traders of all time. And there's many people that are better technical traders than I am. Lots of people. I don't claim that I'm a good technical trader, but I'm a damn good trader without the technicals.
Right, exactly. So again, to summarize, guys, it's about understanding static versus dynamic approach. Okay, you got to move away from the static, so that you don't ask the questions, which strategy do I use, or which indicator I use. That's a static approach, and it doesn't work. Then you also need to understand there is such thing as a climate. Okay, his trading completely changes based on the climate that we are. And if you still remain static and you trade exact same way as you traded, in the bear market, that's not right. Okay. And the third thing is that you look for the situations, and that's what I keep saying is that what do the fractals give you? The fractals give you the moments.
That's probably good. We might get.
All right, go ahead.
No, but I'm saying that YouTube. I'm not plugging him at all, but I just thought I'd share my enjoyment here because we do like tequila here.
Yeah. All right. So the moments where it gives you the moments where you have a chance to lose a little or gain a lot. You see, and that's what Ugly is doing, is looking for the situations. He's not doing it blindly. If he doesn't see, if he doesn't feel it, he's not getting in. He's not in a rush to gain that half Bitcoin back. And and his message is that he first of all, he didn't lose anything because he actually gained 8.5 Bitcoin, but he feels like that 0.5 Bitcoin he shouldn't have lost.
10. Yeah, I lost half a Bitcoin that I'm pissed about.
Yeah. But even though you're pissed about it, you're not jumping in, right?
No,
exactly.
No. And I do have an old Medium article on there, that was called not getting in step, but gosh, I should remember the name of it. But maybe it was going with the flow, or anyway, it's how when you in the groove, something that you can look up in the groove on Medium, and you need to get yourself in the groove. Okay, and that's why I say, guys, start with $100. Get yourself in the groove, but get yourself. So it's a dance. Get yourself in that groove. Okay.
Right.
Then there's another trick, because you're not always going to get in that groove, and you need to recognize quickly, like I did. I'm not in the groove anymore.
Yeah.
And the only way I've been able to figure that out is checking that equity. And then if you're not in the groove, don't be anxious to get back in. Go put your toe in the water. Put your other toe. Go in the waiting pool. Stay in the baby pool.
Don't go back with the revenge trading or any kind of emotion.
No. You don't. You know what? Hey, guys, I know there's a bunch of subscribers that are big losers out there. You've lost a lot of money in BitMEX. Thank you very much, because you've helped out the Ugly Old Goat and lots of other professional traders that know what they're doing. Now, I invite you to come to the other side and be part of the winners. And you can do it. But you got to throw that garbage out. You know what? That was how you learned. And when you figure out, hey, look, I did this. I came out, in 2004, 2002, came out of prison. I had nothing. Okay. Nothing. So I consider myself a greater success than Donald Trump, because, Trump made, hundreds of millions or or billions, and
From a small loan of $1 million.
but he started with something. I don't know. I think he started with 5 million. But
Well,
anyway.
yeah, but it's quote unquote
But,
small.
but the hardest part is going from that first million. That's the hardest part.
Yeah. No.
And then but then it goes to your head and you can lose it from there. But so and as far as financially, I consider myself a greater success story than Donald Trump in that sense.
Yeah, guys, and you need guys exposure therapy, and that's what I'm going to be doing with this mentorship program, right? There's going to be hands-on. People will be trading and experiencing all these different things with the small scale, right? So once they're going to see the situations, when they're going to see how they emotionally react to it to 20, 30 times, and then at that point, when they're trading much bigger account and that situation happens, they know how to handle it. They're not going to freak out.
$100 and have fun. I mean,
Right.
it should be enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. It should be a game. It doesn't matter if it's $100 or $100,000.
But if it's $100, it will be a game because hey, it doesn't matter. Hey, if you can't afford to lose $100, you should never have bought a lifetime membership from Ugly Old
Right.
Dog.
But be careful if you take that $100 and 10x it very quickly. Be careful with scaling. You gotta scale it slowly, and you gotta make sure your emotional maturity. And by the way, emotional maturity, you may have a bad emotional day, and if you recognize that you have a bad emotional day, that's not the time to trade. Like even the best traders will have a day that just doesn't work, right? Because it depends so much on these other aspects, like emotions,
All right, we got any more?
I like what you said. I like you said natural analysis. I think we should start this as a thing.
Okay, yeah. I
Natural
think that-
analysis.
And there's okay, we could do that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's money management, there's technical, I mean, there's fundamental, and there's natural. I don't have any problems. That's kind of a different new concept, and then there is technical. So
Because I think we need to differentiate those between technical and
I don't know
natural.
what
Because
the other naturals would be. I mean, I know you're focused on the Fibonacci's, but I'm not sure. I mean, what other things are natural in trading? I don't know.
well, fractals, fractal ratios, which is what the Fibonacci is helping you with, patterns, waves.
Okay, patterns, waves. Those are not. Yeah, those are. I guess they're not technical. They are
Natural.
They're not measured. They're it's you're looking at it. It's an art. You're looking at a picture. And okay, I got it.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, Also, you mentioned flow and the groove. That's another thing, is that you got to experience that.
Yeah, you have to understand, and you'll know when you're in the groove.
You will know. It's so obvious. You'll see, like, what the hell is that?
You know you're in the groove, and you're right. Like I knew I was in the groove the other day, and I knew it wasn't. I'm still, even in the groove, I was making all kinds of screw ups, but I'm still waiting for that perfect day. I don't think I ever had one, but like I say, proper money management covers all your mistakes, guys.
Yeah,
it does, because you can't get wiped out. The guy that sent me the email says, "Oh, I subscribed to your newsletter and I'm still getting wiped out in my trading." I said, "Well, you didn't get what I'm teaching you, man, because I'm not teaching you to risk your life savings in trading. You trade a little bit, you make a little bit. You're not trying to hit a homer. You're not trying to make up all that you already lost. That's toast. That's history. Accept it. It's part of you. That's part of you. You own that. Okay? It's yours. But you can change. You can change. And own it and change and start new and follow the things that I'm teaching you. You'll never get wiped out again on BitMEX. Never. Unless you violate the money management principle. You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
I can
So,
lose my whole account on BitMEX. It doesn't affect my lifestyle one way or another.
right, because all these different principles that Ugly is not just teaching, he's
And
living.
yet you saw I took 30 Bitcoin out from 2. I took 2 and I've taken 30 out. And I'm trading with more than 2 now. I've got 3.5 in there. Come on, guys. You can do it.
Yeah, yeah, guys, you can definitely do it. It's doable, and I tell you what, it's less difficult than you think, because you're just focusing.
It really isn't that hard. What's hard is for you to change what you're thinking.
Right.
That's what's hard because you're fighting. Like I got a good friend that's on Skid Row right now, and he won't. I mean, and he doesn't have to be.
Some traumas like
You just have to be willing to acknowledge your mistakes and confess your sins and get up and move and get up and start over. You can do it.
Your ego should not be involved in the trading, and that's the flow state, right? So when somebody is let's say the sharpshooters that are really, when they nail the target, from really far distance, the reason they have, because they are in the flow state. If you measure their brain, you'll see that they're in alpha, wave state, and which means that they literally don't think at that point. They just be, and you can be in that state, and trade, and you need to get to that state in trading. That's what the flow state is in trading.
Look, when I'm in the groove, I'm trading so fast and so furious. And you guys want me? Well, why did you do?
There's no time to think. There's no time to think.
I'm in a dance. I'm selling here and I'm buying here and doing this and doing that. And I can't quantify that for you guys.
Yeah.
It's not gonna, but you'll get it. You'll get it. But you have to be able to do it to get it.
Right.
And with $100, you can do it. Oh, it's not going to be so exciting. But you know what? If you need that adrenaline, then you're a loser. Because, you have no problem losing 10, 20, 50, or $100,000, Yeah, because you had fun doing it. My father actually lived off of that. He was never a successful trader. And never. And he always he always thought he could find some system that he could pass down to his children that they just plug and play.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
Okay? The only constant is change. The only system is there is no system.
No.
There are principles.
Right.
There are principles. And that principle, number one, the whole foundation of what I teach is money management. You get that down. And I know the technical people just hate me, but the technicals are not that important. They can help you. They can increase your success, but they're really not that important.
No. And I also want to mention, FOMO, fear of missing out. That if you're trading $100 and you have this fear that like, oh my God, look, if I were to just trade it, 10,000 out of the next 10,000. No, you wouldn't have. It's not the same.
No.
You see?
You need to trade that $100 so when you have the 10, and like I said, that's why I am trading where I'm at now. I'm looking at that account constantly, but not for my sake. It's for your sake, because I don't want to screw up bad. I want to show, and I've done that. I already feel like I've successfully done it, but I want to show you guys you can do this day in, day out consistently. So you guys have made me better at what I do. Okay.
Yeah, and there's nothing to miss out, guys. The price will not stop moving. So if you see this massive move and you're like, oh, I wish I got in it. That's like that's what the trader's remorse, I suppose.
Yeah. If and buts for candy and nuts, we all have a Merry Christmas.
Right. Just don't worry. Price will move. It will never stops moving. So there's nothing to miss out, make sure you understand that. All right, guys. I mean, we've been here a long time. If you have any questions, please shoot now. If not, we're going to have to wrap it up.
I need to go. I think what we'll do is maybe I'll be coming to San Diego this next week.
Yeah, that would be cool.
We'll try and do the next one from your house. And we can, let's try and maybe we'll do it at a different time. So the people in Europe and Asia, we'll do it at a time that they can. I don't know what time, what they got. Or if I don't come across, then I can do it from here and you can just log in. Cause I like having you. I don't like doing these things all by myself. So I like Kestutis is a good, what do you call it? Foil. Go back and forth a little bit.
Right. Yeah. And no,
he's not afraid to state his opinion. No, we have disagreements and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, but that's where you get to the truth, right? It's just trying to distill it and narrow it down, you know. So I love discussing with Ugly. I love getting in arguments with Ugly. I mean, that's
and I have a thick skin. I don't mind that stuff, the arguments at all. You know, pick my brain. You smack me against that. I have a real hard head, so you can smack. I'm not like Roger Ver. You can smack me in the side of the head. I had that done twice to me, both times while I was in a holding cell, and it was twice. They were both convicted murderers, black convicted murderers. And at both the same instant, I was sitting at the table reading the newspaper like this, and they came running and smacked me and cold cocked me right, bam, right in the temple or ear or whatever. And you know, everybody that saw it would think I was going to go down, and you know, I just go like this, and I stand up and look, and I have these false teeth, so I take out my teeth, and you know, whereas he was way over there. He was gone. Anyway, that's an old prison story. That's kind of fun. But those days are over. I'm too soft and marshmallow now and enjoying life. So, but you know, we all have. All those are part of what we are. So if you have a big loss in your BitMEX account or your trading account, hey, own up to it. Own it. It's yours. It's yours. Okay. But we can turn it around. We'll get it changed. You can do it.
The good news is now that they can hear. We'll keep saying, guys, like when you get liquidated, that's the beginning. That's not the end. Because now you can listen. Now you
never be liquidated. Ever.
Yeah. Well, the best case scenario is to get liquidated with $100.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you wanted that. You want that. That's where you want to start. So if you're new to trading and you want to start off, just go for it. Go with $100 and try to apply Ugly's principles and watch it. Watch what happens with your emotions. Watch when you try to resist the market, you know, and just get blown. It's fine. You're just trading with $100. But now you have the lesson. Now you have that experience, and you're not going to do that again.
And I have, you know, I kind of challenged myself because I didn't know what GOAT until my son told me. I didn't know what GOAT meant. The greatest of all time. I said,
right.
Dad, did you know what GOAT meant? I said, no, what does GOAT mean? He says, it means greatest of all time. I said, really? Well, you know what? Now I'm challenged because I really want to live up to that. It would really be great if I could have the legacy. But wow, he was the greatest of all time. And it's not because I don't want to be the richest guy in the cinema. I want to do this just because, hey guys, anybody can do this.
Right.
And it's not the institute. I don't want to manage millions of bucks. I'm doing, you know, I trade for me. I do it for me and my family, but there's no secret to this. There's no magic formula. There's no magic system. There's no magic point.
I think, Ugly, that you are a living legend. You know, I equate you with the legends like Bill Williams and James Simmons, you know, like
I don't know who they are. So
well, yeah, they were approaching market a similar way, the way you do, more to do with the behavioral, the you know, the how you are, and not what the technicals are saying, you know. And even though you don't know them, they are legendary, you know. And they're not technical experts. I do not admire technical experts. I know that they're missing complete point. And I know that if they are successful, it's not because of technical analysis. And this is just one of those you know, unbelievable biases that human has, you know, that they think that you can science the market, you can science the chaos. No, there is a different type of science of chaos, and you cannot apply regular science.
Yeah, and you cannot. My heart is not even in trading. If you've read my articles, my mentor was E.C. Harwood. And my real goal and accomplishment in life, if it can happen, before I pass on, is that we need to restore the lost art of commercial banking. And in my mind, that is a lost art, completely lost art that can be rediscovered in Bitcoin. And it's foreign to a lot of people because it is, in order for Bitcoin to really succeed and be stable, we do need to have increase the money supply. But that supply can actually be increased through market mechanisms, and it's limited the amount of new Bitcoin. And this again is created Bitcoin. It's not the gold Bitcoin, but the money that's created by the banks, the Bitcoin created by the banks, that represents the new goods being offered in the marketplace. So it is backed up, 100% backed up. It's just not all backed up with Bitcoin, just like with the gold standard. I'm so sad that Max Hillebrand, you need to get on. If you're watching this, we need to get on. I need to show with you because I know you're a Murray Rothbard fan, and I'm not. So and I know you're a very fair guy. You like to discuss things, so I want to talk about that with you. But there is such a thing as non-inflationary money creation, and that is what the function that banks performed. And it is what led to the greatest growth the world has ever known in the late 19th century. And it was this system that was eventually, adopted and into the Federal Reserve System in 1913. And of course, that was the mistake. But I'm not going to go there. I mean, that's beyond what we're here today. I mean, you guys just want to learn how to do trading. I can't tell you enough that this is the most exciting time. I can't believe I'm alive. If I was pioneering private money back in the late 70s and through the 80s, and I can't believe where we are today. I mean, it's like I woke up from 1,000 years sleep, and you guys are so far advanced. You can't believe how lonely it was back there in the late 1970s and 80s about talking about denationalizing money, about private money. And so this is just really, really exciting stuff. You guys should just count your blessings that you live in these times. It's going to be a challenge, but my gosh, will it be fun. So you youngsters, I envy you. Any of you figure out how I can give you all my wealth and make me 50 years younger, hey, you know what? I'll be glad to pay for it. So, but I don't see that on the horizon. I don't think that's the way the Lord meant it to be. So,
right.
All right. So we're done here. No more questions. We're done, and we'll try and do this again. Maybe in the middle of the week. I won't guarantee it. I got a full plate. I got to get. I got to work on this cruise this coming week because I've kind of neglected that. We've got the website down and this affiliate program down. It took a lot longer. It was a lot more complicated than I thought. Writing those emails is a chore in itself. All these things are little things, that I'm having to learn, and I don't mind doing it. I'm having lots of fun. So, and I'm glad I met Kestutis because he's really good to have for a foil because I don't want to do this all by myself. Plus, he gets the technical stuff. He set up this thing. I could never figure out how to use this YouTube channel. I get it down very well.
Yeah.
All right. So we done?
Yeah. I think guys, you have a wisdom, and timeless wisdom right here, and I love teaching. And
I am a lousy teacher. I really am. You got, when people come, I say you got to just follow me because I don't teach. You just have to absorb what I do and learn it on your own. And that's that's the problem I'm having with people. They think that if they become a member, that somehow I can teach them. I can't teach you guys.
Yeah.
I can't do
Yeah. Well, some people can learn by themselves, and they are obviously those are the people that reply to you with the great feedback. Some people need a coach, need a mentor, need a teacher. To just being sort of taken step by step through the entire education, and so that's where I come in. Uh, Whatever all this wisdom that Ugly is
I
has.
don't consider it wisdom. I guess it is wisdom because it's wisdom. It's not knowledge, it's wisdom.
It's wisdom, yeah. I'm trying to articulate that for you guys and teach you and make sure that you are practicing it and living it, not just intellectually understanding it, that you're actually doing that. And that's very different. It takes some reprogramming. It takes some practice, intentional repetition, visualization, all
Big
these kind of
difference
things.
between saying you want to do it and actually be doing it.
Absolutely.
Like I want to speak Spanish, but I still don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. So if you don't have any more questions, we're gonna call it a night.
Yeah, we could do the dance. Should we do the dance?
We can do
We
the
can make a
dance.
fools of ourselves just one more time.
Of
What do you
course.
think? You guys want to see us do the yeah, we got to you guys need to look. You hodl. Okay. Here we go.
All right. So that's for
We
that's
make
for
a fool of ourselves. There we go.
Huddle, huddle, huddle. Say. Builder.
Sound money. Sound money. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.